So welcome everybody, welcome to practice, welcome to yoga. Thank you for coming on this Saturday in December 12th. The sloka that I'd like to read from the Bhagavad Gita today is really short, and it's just from chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. Pretty much in a nutshell describes yoga. So it says here, when your mind, which has been tossed about by conflicting opinions and thoughts, becomes still and centered in equilibrium, then you experience yoga. So once again, when your mind, which has been tossed about by conflicting opinions and thoughts, becomes still and centered in equilibrium, then you experience yoga. So that's what we're trying to achieve, that sense of equilibrium, which leads us to a deeper realization of ourselves. So please switch the cross of your legs. Cross your shins at the very center. Have some space between the shins and the pelvis there. And then spread the backs of your thighs and pull the buttocks flesh back. And bring your hands onto your thighs. If you wear glasses, you can take them off from the get-go. Just bring your hands onto the thighs and find that evenness in your sitting bones and that descension of your thighs downwards, and then lift up through the sides of your trunk. Take the outer corners of your shoulders back. Move your back upper neck muscles down and move the shoulder blades into your back. Lift up through the sides of your waist and the breastbone, and then close your eyes. And just see what's arising in your experience today. Notice the body, how the body is feeling today. If there's any exhaustion, weariness, if there's any anxiousness, agitation, if there's any discomfort. Notice the mind, notice the state of your mind, if it's in a very fast, jumpy, quick place, or if it's in a relatively slower place, more on the dull side. Notice your mood, what mood you're having right now, what mood you're experiencing. And now just become aware of who you are that's aware of all of those things, all of the body states, the mind states, the emotional state. Just become aware of awareness itself. And just take a moment and rest in that open, space-like awareness. And then bring your hands to your heart center. And then lift your chest upwards. And draw your senses of perception inwards. Draw the eyes back. Draw the ears in. Relax your tongue down. Soften all of the skin of your face. Let your breath be softer and smoother. Surrender your head to your heart center. Find that sense of equilibrium that's beyond all of your conflicting thoughts and opinions. That place of stillness inside yourself. Be present there. And please join me for 3 ohms. Lift your chest upwards and bow your head downwards. Reaffirm your inner intention to be well, to be healthy, to find that sense of equilibrium, and to allow this practice of yoga to help you achieve that. Release your hands down to your thighs with your palms upwards. Raise your head and slowly open your eyes. Okay, welcome again, everybody. Thank you for coming. So switch the cross of your legs and sit more towards the back of your props. Sit more towards the back of your blankets. Some of you might need some blocks in front of you. David, you might even need a chair. Dan, you might need a chair in front of you. You have to see. So bring your hands onto the fingertips here in front of you. Walk your hands a little bit further forward, but then pull the front ribs forward and move the back ribs in. Maintain that sense of getting longer on the front body as you walk your hands all the way forward. That's it, without losing that length. And then once your hands are forward, bring your head down. Again, put height under your hands if you feel tightness in this pose, constriction. Add some height under the hands, blocks or chairs. So once you're fully in your pose, this is Adho Mukha Swastikasana. Take a deeper inhalation in, and as you exhale, release your thighs down and direct your exhalation into any stiffness wherever you find it. Keep pulling the breastbone forward, front ribs forward, back ribs in. Lengthen the sides of your trunk and release your head down. Very good. Now walk your hands back. Switch the cross of your legs. Again, bring your fingertips in front of you just a little bit. Press your fingertips down. Pull the mat backwards so that you can pull the front ribs forward and move your back ribs in. Maintain that as you walk your hands all the way forward. Make sure the feet are soft, so the bottoms of the feet, the soles of the feet are turning upwards. Take any padding under the ankles as needed. So once you're there, let your head come down, and then take a deeper inhalation in, a longer exhalation out, and direct that longer exhalation into the stiffness wherever you find it. Keep drawing the abdomen back, but extend the sides of your trunk forward. Keep walking the hands further and further forward. Good. And then walk your hands back. Excellent. And now stretch out your legs. And let's come into Adho Mukha Veerasana. So Adho Mukha Veerasana. So downward facing hero's pose. Have your big toes touching. Have your knees apart. Take any props you need under your shins, between your hips and your feet, or under your head. Be far enough back on your mat so your hands can be on the mat. And then come down. Adho Mukha Virasana. Stiffer bodies in this particular pose, just take your knees wider. Otherwise, your inner thighs are just barely grazing your outer ribs. So move the thighs back. Move the thighs back. Deepen that hip crease. See if there's any tightness in the groins today. Move your inner groins down and spread the inner groins apart. Bring your outer hips down towards your outer ankles and roll the buttocks back towards the feet. Draw the abdomen back and then maintain that as you keep your hips down for a moment. Once again, look forward, come up onto your fingertips, look forward and fly your front ribs forward and bring your back ribs in. Bring the back ribs in. That's called the kidney band. The kidneys are just below your back ribs. So bring your kidney band in. Maintain that extension of the front body. Move the hands further forward and then bring the head down again. But keep that length on the front of the body and the sides of the body. Press your inner hands down and then revolve your inner arms upwards. So the undersides of your arms are moving away from the floor. Move your shoulder blades into your back. Now keep your hands right where they are. Don't move them backwards as you come up onto the hands and the knees. Keep your hands pressed. That's it. Turn your hands out 45 degrees. Take your feet as wide as the sticky mat. Roll your toes under, downward facing dog pose. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So Once you're in your pose, just straighten your arms and your legs and lengthen your spine. Just go to the general actions. Good. Now bring more weight to your inner hands. Draw your outer elbows in and keep that sense of the undersides of your forearms lifting away from the floor. But then as you pull your arms up into the shoulder blades, move your shoulder blades deeper into your back so that your chest starts to move back. And then move your hips back away from your hands. Move your outer hips back. Now press the inner edges of your feet down and draw the inner legs up. Draw the kneecaps up and then press the fronts of your thighs into the backs of the thighs. Keep your head right in between your arms. Move those inner top thighs way back and then move your outer hips back and reach your heels backwards and downwards. Deepen your breath. Good. Now keep your feet wide, but just walk your hands back to the feet. Walk your hands back to the feet. Keep your feet as wide as the sticky mat. Have the outer edges of your feet lined up with the mat. And then bring your hands directly under your shoulders. Use blocks under your hands if you need to. And again, once you're here, this is Ardha Uttanasana, half intense stretch pose. So the hands can be on blocks or on the floor on your fingertips. Make sure that your hips are right over the ankles, straighten the legs. Pull up through the kneecaps. Move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, but press into the floor or the blocks with your hands or the chair, whatever you're using. Pull the breastbone forwards. Fly the front ribs forward. Move your back ribs in. And then take your hands wide in line with your outer shoulders and take the head down. Otherwise, you can have your hands on a wall. You can have your hands on a wall. If you can't bring your head down, keep your hands on a wall or on the back of a chair or the back of a couch, whatever you have there. That's it. So make sure the hips are right over the ankles. Spread your toes. Lift up through your inner legs. Keep taking those top inner groins back to keep taking the outer hips back. Take a deeper inhalation and then bring your side ribs down and your armpits down and your elbows down and your head down. That's the way. Good. And then bring your hands to the hips. Reach the chest forward and up you come. Okay, now bring the short edge of your mat to a wall. So you'll bring the short edge of your mat to a wall. And we'll do another downward dog with your heels against the wall. Do another downward dog with your heels pressing into the wall. That's it. So go ahead into it. And you can now, some of you can take your feet just as wide as your hands, right? Otherwise, if you have tightness, take your feet as wide as the sticky mat. So modify as needed. And even though the heels are a little bit up the wall, just like an inch up the wall, not too much, even though the heels are up the wall, you're still pushing the wall backwards and you're trying to move the heels down. You're trying to move the heels downwards towards the floor. The inner and the outer heels are both moving back. So the ankles have to move back and the shin bones have to move back and the thigh bones are moving back and the outer hips are moving back. So maintain that backward motion as you reach the arms forward, straightening the arms. That's the way. Good. Push those heels back. Push the wall away from you. Push the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. These are all excellent. Now, lightly come down into child's pose. Bring the big toes to touch, knees apart. Extend your arms forward. And that's it. Exhale. Keep the front body lengthening forward, side body lengthening forward. Now, some of you are going to repeat that. Others of you will walk your hands back a little bit and walk your feet up the wall for half handstand. Okay, so either downward dog with your heels at the wall. Otherwise, you walk your hands back a little bit towards the knees and you walk your feet up the wall for half handstand. Keep your hands turned out 45 degrees. In half handstand, bring your feet either higher than your hips or the same level as your hips and bring your legs together. Yes, good. Those of you in downward dog, just push the heels back. Those of you in half handstand, push your heels into the wall, lift your hips upwards, straighten your arms and move your shoulder blades in. That's it, so that your chest moves towards the wall. Straighten your legs. Nice, you guys. Excellent. Very good. And then come down and again, rest in child's pose. Deepen your breath. Knees apart. Actually, bring the knees together for this child's pose. Bring your knees all the way together. So your knees are together and your feet are together, and you probably won't be able to get your head down. That's okay. But you'll feel some more opening of your back body. Can you feel how it stretches your body in a different way when your knees are together, right? It stretches the back of the body. So the knees are together. This is the Adho Virasana with the knees together. Stretch the arms forward. Keep the breastbone forward, side ribs forward, and use the knees together to get more space in your back. That's the way. Good. Okay, now some of you are going to repeat that, either downward dog with your heels at the wall, half handstand. Some of you can turn around and do full handstand. Okay, so any of those poses. Okay, half, downward dog, or full. Get ready and go up. That's the way. Good. So once you're in the pose, straighten your arms and get the direction of your shoulder blades. If you're doing full handstand, your shoulder blades come away from the wall. If you're doing half handstand or downward dog, your shoulder blades move towards the wall, into your back body. That's it. Good. Now, those of you doing half, you can also try lifting up one leg at a time. You can lift up, but don't overshoot the top leg. Roll the top leg in and lift the bottom hip up, and then switch in your own time. Make sure not to exhaust yourself. Hold the pose without exhausting yourself. That's it. When you're ready, when you're done, you come down and you rest in child's pose or Uttanasana. There's our little friend, Marie. Love him. Just love that dog. Very good. So rest. If you did handstand, you're resting in Uttanasana. I know. I saw Marie's dog. Good. Great. Okay, and then let's come back up and let's come to the center of the room and we'll do some standing poses. So put your mat sideways and I'm going to show you how I want you to come into the first pose. If you know that you need a wall, make sure to have a wall behind you. If you know that you need a wall or any kind of extra support, love yourself enough to take that support. Otherwise, once you're in your position, come and watch. So the mat is side. If you can face the camera, face the orange wall, that's always best. If not, do what you need to do there. Okay, so just watch first. So we're going to come into the poses a little bit differently. So we're going to come into Trikonasana. So we're going to come to Prasarita Padasana, concave back, right? And then watch as I turn the feet in one direction and I come over and then I bring my hand to my hip and then eventually I'll take the arm up. And then to come out of it, we go that same direction. We go to the other side. So we're going to be coming into the poses this way today. So it's a little bit different than coming in classically, okay? So stand in Tadasana, bring your feet together. Bring your hands to the center of your chest, and then step your legs apart or jump your legs apart. Bring your feet all the way out under the hands. That's it. Have your toes going straight forwards, press your heels down, move your thighs back, but bring the middle buttocks forward and raise your chest upwards. Make sure your arms aren't lower than the shoulders. They become heavier there. Make your arms like a smiling face. That's it. And bring your shoulder blades down. That's it. So bring your hands to the hips. Roll your shoulders back. Look upwards. So fly the front ribs upwards. Bring the back ribs in. And then come down and bring your hands down to the floor or blocks or chair. And pull your breastbone forward. Fly the front ribs forward. Bring the back ribs in. Straighten the legs fully. Good. Now turn your left foot in slightly. Turn your whole right leg out. Walk your hands to the right. Bring your right hand onto your ankle. Bring your left hand onto the hip. And then press into the inner edge of your right foot, down into the sticky mat. Pull up through your right kneecap. Pull the kneecap up. Make sure the kneecap is right over the middle of your thigh. And turn your inner right leg to the outer right leg and bring your right buttocks forward. Place your hand on the ankle. Make sure that right leg is straight. So straighten, like pull the kneecap up. Now that's it. Straighten that leg fully. Now press the outer edge of your left foot down. Roll your outer left thigh back. So can you bring your right buttocks forward anymore? And keep but without letting your left thigh come forward. Now lift your chest and roll your left shoulder back. Lift your head away from your chest and then take your top arm upwards. Look forwards and then lift your chin, and only if you don't have any neck sensitivity, look upwards at your top left thumb from your right eye. Good. Now bring your left hand all the way down to the floor. Walk back through the center. Turn your toes forward. Turn the toes forward. Good. Now lift your chest, concave your back, and then turn your right foot in, turn your left leg out, walk your hands to the left, bring your left hand to your left shin or left ankle, bring your right hand onto the hip. So press through your heels, pull your kneecaps up. So the first thing is to get your legs to be straight. So pull that left kneecap up. Notice if your upper body is leaning forward. If it is, you have to bring your left hand higher up the leg. That's it. So your upper body should be back in alignment with your hips. Now with your legs fully extended, can you bring your left buttocks forward anymore without letting your right thigh come forward? Karen, see if you can bring your left hand a little bit higher up the leg. So it's right under that shoulder. There you go. That's it. Now lift your chest away from your pelvis. Roll your right shoulder back. Lift your head. And then lift up your right arm. And you can look upwards at that right thumb from your left eye. Keep bringing the left buttocks forward, right thigh back. Good. Now bring your right hand down to the floor. Walk your hands back to the center. That's it. And if you need to bring your feet closer together, go ahead and do that. Bring your hands to the hips, reach the chest forward and come up. Okay, we're going to do that again, but I want everyone, this is what I want you to work on, so watch. So when I'm in the pose, coming from here, this is my hip crease. So I don't want my hips to fall on my thigh. You see, I have to lift my hips off of my thigh. I want this to become opened. So that happens by bringing the buttocks forward and opening up this right groin. I don't want this. So if you have to bring your hand higher up the leg to get more of that lift, please do that. Love yourself enough to go higher to get more space. You don't want this becoming restricted. Open it up. Let's do it again with that in mind, that opening of the right groin. Bring your hands to the hips or bring your feet together. Bring your hands to the chest and either step your legs apart or jump. Those of you stepping, make sure to keep alternating the legs that you're stepping out with. Okay, now bring your hands to the hips. Roll your shoulders back, straighten your legs. Move the thighs back, bring your middle buttocks forward. Lift your chest and then start to come forward. Bring your fingertips down. And lift your chest. Front ribs forward, back ribs in, shoulders back away from the ears. Maintain that as you turn your left foot in, turn your right leg out, and walk your hands to the right. Bring your right hand to your shin. Bring your left hand onto the hip. And then press your heels down. That's it. Press those heels down. Pull your kneecaps up. And everybody, bring your right hand higher up your leg, closer to the knee, so that when you bring your right buttocks forward, you feel like your left hip is lifting up off of your right thigh. So lift your pelvis up off of the thigh. Get more space in that right groin. Get more space. Bring the right buttocks forward into your front right groin. Yes. Keeping the left hip back. That's it. Now, roll your left shoulder back, take your head back. If you can keep that space and not lose that space, then you can bring your hand further down. Russell, bring your hand higher up. Don't let your left hip crash onto your right thigh. Keep that lift. And then take your top arm up and keep that space. Right buttocks forward. Much better, everybody. That's it. Get that right buttocks forward. Open up that right groin. Excellent. Now bring your left hand down to the floor. Walk back through the center. Turn your feet parallel. Lift your chest. Front ribs forward, back ribs in. Walk your hands turn your feet to the left, and then walk your hands to the left. Bring your left hand onto the shin. Bring your right hand onto the hip. Press your heels down and pull up through your kneecaps. In this pose, both of the legs are turning outwards. So then everybody bring your left hand a little bit higher up the leg so that you can feel as if you're lifting your pelvis up off of your left leg. It's not crashing down onto the left leg. Get that space and see if you can bring your left buttocks forward into your front left groin. So open up the groins. That's much better. Keeping the right thigh back. That's it. And the abdomen turns. Beautiful. Now, if you can maintain that opening, then you can move the left hand further down. But don't let the hips crash on that left thigh. And then take your top arm up and reach it upwards. That's it. Shoulder blades in. Beautiful. Left shoulder back. Very good. Now, bring your right hand down. Come back to the center. Have the outer edges of your feet parallel to each other, which will require the heels to be slightly wider than the toes. Keep your hips right over your ankles, but walk your hands all the way forward. Adho Mukha, Prasarita Padottanasana. Come forward. You can be on fingertips. You can be on palms flat. You can have your hands on blocks. Hands can be on a chair, whatever is necessary for you. But just don't let the hips come forward. So press the outer edges of your feet down. Lift your kneecaps and spread your inner legs away from each other. Draw your outer hips back and then lengthen the sides of the trunk forward. Good. Now walk your hands back. Good. Bring your hands to the hips. Reach the chest forward and come up. Of course, bring your feet closer together as needed. Okay, excellent. Bring your arms and your legs back together and stand in Tadasana. Okay, good. Now, have your two blocks or your chair on the left-hand side of your mat this way. So now you'll be turning to the side. So this can be blocks or a chair. Okay, so stand about 2 feet behind the blocks. Bring your hands to the hips. And then step your right leg forward in between the blocks or under the chair and step your left leg back. Have at least 4 feet between your feet, maybe a little bit less if your legs are shorter, maybe a little bit longer if your legs are wider or longer. And then you can also have your feet heel to heel alignment. Otherwise, you can have your feet hip distance if you have any stability issues. So press down through your heels, pull up through your kneecaps, and draw your outer hips in as you move the right hip back and the left hip forward. So again, roll your shoulders back, hands to the hips, fly your front ribs upwards, bring your back ribs in, and then keep reaching your breastbone forward. Fly those front ribs forward. As you come down and bring your hands down to the blocks and get a concave in your back. Those of you who can lower the blocks without losing that concavity in your back, lower the blocks or even be on fingertips on the floor directly under your shoulders. So you have to choose the right level for you. You want to keep the integrity of your upper back coming in. Make sure your hands and the blocks are directly under your shoulders, not forward. So straighten your legs again. Press the inner edge of your right foot down. Draw your right hip back. Press the outer edge of your left foot down. Draw the left hip forward. Good. Press your hands down. Fly the front ribs forward. Bring the back ribs in. Lift up through the sides of your neck. Nice. Now turn your abdomen from the left side to the right side. There you go. And then take your hands wide apart and lengthen your spine over your right leg. Go down, head down. Now those of you with blocks, you can take the blocks lower once you go down. And also it's easier to walk the hands forward. So you can choose. It's more forgiving, just walk the hands forward. Otherwise, take the hands out to the sides and then go down, bring your spine down over that right leg. So the abdomen has to turn. Straighten the legs, otherwise your hands can be forward. Beautiful, David, that's it. Good, now come back to concave back, hands under the shoulders, bring your hands to the hips with straight legs, come up, push the heels down to come up with straight legs, nice. Okay, and then come back to Tadasana, about 1 foot behind the blocks. And then bring your left leg forward and bring your right leg back. So the left leg is forward approximately 4 feet, more or less, depending on the length of your legs. Heel to heel alignment, unless you're taking the feet hip distance apart. So press through your heels, pull up through your kneecaps, draw the outer hips in, and then steer your left hip back and your right hip forward. Bring your hands to the hips, roll the shoulders back, look upwards, and then start to come forward. Keep pulling the front ribs forward. Bring your hands down to the blocks at any level with integrity, with the upper back in a concave position. Meaning the front ribs are flying forwards, the back ribs are in, the shoulders are moving away from the ears. So press into the inner edge of your left foot, pull the left kneecap up and move your left hip back. Press the outer edge of your right foot, move your right hip forward. Push the fronts of your thighs to the backs of the thighs. Good. Now inhale, as you exhale, turn your abdomen from the right side to the left side. Take your hands wide apart, maybe lower the blocks, and then lengthen your spine over your left leg. Lengthen the spine over the left leg. That's it. Some of you, it's easier, walk the hands forward. That's more forgiving. Walk the hands forward with or without blocks, like downward dog. Push the fronts of your thighs into the backs of the thighs. Keep turning the abdomen, lengthen your spine over that leg. Not bad. Bring your hands back under the shoulders. Bring your hands to the hips, reach the chest forward, and up you come. Good. One more time on the first side. So bring your feet behind the blocks. That's it. And then step your right leg forward and your left leg back. Line up your feet heel to heel or take the feet hip distance apart. For the second time, see if for you, you can turn your back foot further out than you did the first time. So turn the back foot further out. So if you were turning the foot 45 degrees, see if you can turn the back foot out 60 degrees so that it's harder to get the left hip forward. Yes, isn't it harder? Yes, that's it. When you turn the back foot out, that's it. So press your heels down, hands to the hips, bring the right hip back, press the outer edge of your left foot down, bring the left hip forward. So roll the shoulders back, move your front ribs upwards, bring your back ribs in, look upwards from your chest, and then come forward. Keep pulling the breastbone forward. Nice, Karen. That's it. Bring your hands down and get a concave in your back. Get the concave to come in the back. That's it. So now with the back foot more turned out, bring your left hip further forward. Yes. Bring the right hip further back. Push the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Pull the breastbone forward. And again, take your hands out to the sides and turn your abdomen from the left side to the right side and go down over that leg. That's it. Maybe you can lose the blocks. Otherwise, you're walking your hands forward. Again, that's an easier position. See if you can take your breastbone down first before your head. Think of the breastbone coming down over that right knee. That's it. Take the hands really wide. Fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Very good. Now walk your hands back under the shoulders. Press your heels down. Be firm in your legs. Hands to the hips, firm in the legs, come up. Nice. Switch your legs, come back to Tadasana. 2 feet behind the brick. Step your left leg forward and your right leg back. And then see for the second time if you can turn your back foot more out than you did the first round. So maybe you're going from 45 degrees to 60 degrees in the back foot. Abhijata did a whole teaching with this for us when we were in Mexico. Couple of years together, how important it is to keep that back foot turned out if you can. And it does require more effort than to bring the back hip, the right hip forward. So press your heels down, draw your left hip back, bring your right hip forward. The outer hips have to come in. Look at eye level. If you look down, your upper back will round. So bring your shoulders back, bring your back ribs in and fly your front ribs up and then come forward like you're reaching your breastbone across the room. And then bring your hands down. Nice, Natalie. Press your hands down. Lift your chest. Back ribs in, front ribs forward. Now pull your left hip back. And with your back foot more turned out, notice the difference. And some of you might even feel a different kind of stretch in your hips with the back foot more turned out. See if you can get more concavity in your back, Russell. Get that upper back to go in more. Good. Now, everybody turn your abdomen from the right side to the left side, and then take your hands wide or forward and go down over your leg. Either walk your hands forward, that's more forgiving, or take your hands out, that's more classic. That's it. So push the fronts of your thighs into the backs of the thighs. Anna, that looks really good. Make sure there's an evenness on both sides of your trunk. Is your left side shorter? Do you have to draw that left hip back? Do you have to draw the right hip forward? And if it's impossible with the back foot turned out more, then of course, go back to the first place. But that's the goal for all of us. That's it. Surrender your head. Breastbone first, more than the head. Now bring your hands back under the shoulders. Press your heels down. Get that confidence in your legs, especially when you're coming up. Hands to the hips and then come on up. Very good. Okay, now turn your left foot in. Bring your legs back together. Turn back towards the front. We'll do Prasarita Uttanasana classic pose. So bring your feet, bring your heels to the back edge of your mat. Some of you will have blocks in front of you or chairs in front of you. Bring your hands to the hips. That's it. And either step your legs or jump your legs wide apart. So get your heels lined up with the back edge of the mat. Bring the outer edges of your feet parallel. Press through the heels. Pull up through the kneecaps. The thighs are back. The middle buttocks comes forward. Roll your shoulders back. Fly the front ribs up. Bring the back ribs in. Look upwards and then bring your hands down. Get a concave in your back. But now this time, some of you can bring your palms flat. And some of you can even, with your arms straight, walk your hands further back towards your feet. Yes, walk your hands further back. That's it. But lift your chest. Get upward facing dog in your back. It's not an easy pose. That's it. Yes. That's it. Straighten your legs. If it's impossible, keep your hands under the shoulders. Keep your hands on fingertips or blocks. Yes. Very good. Now, everybody, inhale. As you exhale, bend your elbows. Walk your hands back. If your hands are on blocks, take your hands off the blocks. Walk your hands back all the way to the edge of the mat. Bend your elbows backwards so they're right over the wrists, and take your head down. Down to the floor. Unless you need to, put your head on a block. You can always take your feet a little bit wider. Press the outer edges of your feet downwards. Pull up through your kneecaps. Rest your head. Lift your shoulders up. Spread the inner thighs outwards. Make sure that both of your hips are lifting evenly. Sometimes we favor ever so subtly one foot, and then that hip, one hip drops. Draw the outer hips back. Relax your head down. Really rest your head. Rest your consciousness by resting your head. Good. And now lift up your head and your chest. Walk your hands forward under the shoulders. Bring your feet closer together as needed. Bring your hands to the hips. Reach the chest forward and come up. Good. Now bring your legs back together. Some of you will have your feet hip distance apart. That's easier. We did that before, right? So the outer edges of your feet, keep them parallel. So they're not turned in. It's more subtle than that. The outer edges of the feet are parallel. So it really depends on how wide your feet are, how much the feet turn in. Bring your hands to this. Others of you, bring your feet together. Bring your feet together. So this is much more challenging with the feet together. So if you have tighter hamstrings, that's not the choice for you. Some of you can even take your feet wider than your hips, okay? And then come forward. Bring your fingertips down to the floor. Use blocks if you need to. Under your shoulders. That's it. Lift your chest. Get upward dog in your back. Lift your chest. Lift. Pull the front ribs forward. Bring the back ribs in. Make sure that your hips are right over your ankles. They're not falling backwards, which they tend to do for almost all of us. Pull the front chest forward. Lift up through the sides of your neck. That's it. Shoulders back away from the ears. Excellent. Now, take your hands either forward or out to the side, like we did for Parvatasana. Out to the side is more challenging. So out to the sides and then release your head down. You can also walk your hands forward. If your hands are on blocks, just walk your hands forward, but keep your hips over your ankles. Yes. Walk the hands forward. You can do that, David, or put your hands on the back of that chair. That's it. Take your hands. And then those of you with your hands out to the sides, take your hands back alongside your feet, maybe even behind your feet, but really far out to the sides. And when you bring your hands back, study how the hips go back, don't they? So don't let the hips come back. Bring your sitting bones forward, even as you press the fronts of your thighs back. Take your head down, straight down. That's it. Elbows out to the sides. So this is Uttanasana, the intense stretch. Make your two legs one if your legs are together. Very good. Now come back to concave back. Hands under the shoulders. Lift your chest upwards. Bring your hands to the hips. Reach the chest forward and come up with straightened legs. That's the way. Now those of you who do head balance, get ready for head balance. Those of you not doing head balance today, just rest with your legs up onto the wall. With no support under the hips. Just a simple legs up the wall pose. Legs up the wall with no support. Nothing under your pelvis unless you need a softness there, but no height. We're not doing Vipariti Karani. So legs up the wall. Otherwise, you're doing headstand pose, Virasana. Those of you with your legs up the wall, just rest with your arms at your sides. Good. Headstanders, be up in your pose. So those of you with your legs up the wall, you can study your legs. Notice how one leg rolls out, the other leg doesn't roll out as much. So see if you can make your two legs one leg and roll your outer thighs to the inner thighs and reach your inner heels and your big toe mounds higher and higher up so that the whole back of your leg is moving into the wall. Move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. That's it. Now, those of you in head balance, once you have the wrists and the forearms pressing down, lift your inner shoulders up. Lift your breastbone and your shoulder blades up. Lift your side waist up. Lift your buttocks up towards the feet. And then just like the folks with their legs up the wall, roll the outer thighs to the inner thighs. Keep extending up through the inner legs, extend up through your inner heels, and extend up through your big toe mounds. Those of you in head balance, the ball of your foot lifts a little bit higher than the heel. It's not like as dramatic as a pointed ballet foot, but the ball of your foot lifts a little bit higher. And the inner feet, reach the inner feet higher than the outer feet and fan and spread your toes. Now, those of you with your legs up the wall, lift your arms up alongside your ears. Lift your arms up alongside your ears, lock your thumbs above you, pull on your thumbs and squeeze your arms in and lengthen from your hips all the way to your fingertips. Lengthen there. That's it. Make your two legs one. Make sure that your lower back isn't overarching. Bring the sides of the waist down and then switch the cross of the thumbs. Keep that length on the sides of your body. And then those of you with your legs up the wall, hold your elbows. So now your arms are framing your head. That's it. Headstanders, keep streaming your legs upwards. Bring your big toe mounds to touch Russell. Big toe mounds, that's it. And keep reaching those big toe mounds upwards. Karen, that's super good. Just bring your right elbow in a little bit. These are looking good. Karen, that looks good. Just bring your tailbone in a little bit more. Think of Karen bringing your middle buttocks forward away from the chair. Just a little bit. That's it. The middle buttocks comes a little bit in front of the thighs in this pose. Those of you with your legs up the wall, switch the cross of your legs. Those of you in headstand, relax your eyes, relax your jaw. Can you make it a restorative pose, a refreshing pose, a lighter pose? It's not a heavy pose at all. That's it. Now, those of you with your legs up the wall, extend your arms again. Inhale, and then exhale, bring your arms back alongside your body and rest there with your palms upwards, or just rest with your fingertips on your body. Now, headstanders, you can start to come down or stay another few breaths. I'll give you the choice to, if you're feeling good, you can stay another few moments. Otherwise, start to come down. You know to come down if you start to feel your pose dropping, the shoulders dropping. If there's a heaviness that starts to come in the pose and you can't correct that heaviness, that's your little bell, like the bells of this neighborhood, the church bells. That's your bell to come down out of the pose. So you have to use your own judgment. And every day is different. Okay, so now if you're still in headstand, start to come down and come down slowly. Come down nice and slowly. And then rest in child's pose. Those of you with your legs up the wall, draw your knees into the chest and wrap your arms around the legs. Be in Parvatasana. So draw your legs around. You can have space in between the knees. The feet can either be resting on the wall or they can be a little bit away from the wall, whatever gives you a better pose. The abdomen draws down, jaw relaxes for everybody. Okay, and then let's all come up and let's come back to the center now. Get whatever props you had at the beginning that you were sitting on. Face the camera as best as well. Just have your mat going straight forwards now. So have your mat going straight forwards this way. And we'll start with that. Make sure to have those who need to, we're going to be doing some seated poses. So those of you who need to, you'll have chairs around you, blocks around you. Everybody have a belt around you. And we're going to start in Virasana Pose. So you can, you can either double your sticky mat for more padding, or you can put an open blanket down. Okay, and then you're sitting down in between your feet, Virasana Pose. So sit down in between the feet. Now, if that's not possible for you, then you sit down on a folded blanket, on the front of a folded blanket, or you sit down on a block. Okay, and then if you're sitting on a block, make sure to have another block behind you. Okay, and make sure to have a belt. So sit in Virasana on any height that's suitable for you and your body and your knees. If there's anyone who hasn't told me that they can't do this because of their knees today, then just please sit in a cross-legged position. So you do want to sit as low as you can without feeling stress, of course, to your knees. Make sure that your toes are going straight backwards. And then lift your hips a little bit and pull the buttocks flesh back. So you're on the front of your sitting bones, and pull your shin bone skin and your kneecap skin forward. Come all the way forward, that's it. Move the roots of your thighs down. Make sure that the props are just under your sitting bones. They're not under your thighs at all. And your inner thighs don't have to be all the way together. They can be a little bit apart. So as long as your thighs are parallel to each other, that's completely fine. Don't force the thighs together. If they come together quite naturally, that's fine, but don't force that. Make sure to move the calf muscles back. Okay, so let's have a belt over your left shoulder, because we'll end up in Gomukasana Pose, so you can have a belt over the left shoulder. So interlace the fingers, turn the palms forwards, and raise your arms up. So start with Parvatasana in Virasana. So move the roots of your thighs down. Shift back into the back of your sitting bones. Draw the abdomen back. Take your outer upper arms in. That's it, good. And then once you have that, bring your arms out to the sides and go for Gomukasana Pose. Gomukasana, bring your right arm back and your left arm up. Gomukasana, that's it. So hold on to the belt, hold on to your fingers. Find that evenness on both sides of the trunk. Don't let your right side be shorter. That's what tends to happen. Bring the right shoulder back. and bring the inner edge of your right shoulder blade in. Make sure that you're not just throwing your right elbow back. See if you can get the shoulder to move back, not just so much the elbow. Keep your outer left armpit wrapping forward towards the tip of your nose. Reach your left elbow upwards. So move the shoulder blades in, but don't let the abdomen push forward. Keep the back of the abdomen connecting to the spine. Move your head back. Relax your eyes, relax your jaw. That's it. And then go ahead and release. Good. Now put the belt on the other shoulder. Those of you utilizing the belt, interlace your fingers the less habitual way. Turn your palms forwards and go up. But as you go up, go down with your thighs. Go down with the roots of your thighs. Go down with your outer hips. The outer hips and the inner groins go down. Draw the abdomen back, more towards the back of the sitting bones. And then lengthen up through the sides of your trunk. Take your outer upper arms in and see if you can move your arms back and you still have that sense of the back ribs coming in. Relax your eyes and your jaw. Good. Now inhale. As you exhale, bring your arms out to the sides and then take Gomukasana on the other side. So the left arm comes back and the right arm comes up. So descend the roots of your thighs, draw the abdomen back, and then make sure that the left side of the trunk hasn't shortened. Draw your left shoulder back and move the inner edge of your left shoulder blade in. Connect the shoulder blade to the back body. Roll your outer right armpit forward. Reach up through your right elbow. As you move the shoulder blades in, move your head back so your breastbone lifts. But don't let your abdomen get thrown forward. See if you can get more belt or another finger. Pull your hands apart. Shoulder blades in. But make sure that your inner groins are moving down, your outer hips are moving down. There's not a hardness there in the groins. Good. And then go ahead and release. Now keep your legs as they are. You can take away the belt. Bring your hands in front of you with your feet exactly as they are. Pull the front ribs forward. That's it. And then go forward. So before we did this pose, right, with the feet and the knees together, now we have the knees together but the feet apart. And then release your head down. Most of you won't be able to get your head all the way down. Just bring it down in between your arms like downward dog. One or two of you will be able to get the head all the way to the floor. But move your groins back. Move those thighs back. Move your inner groins down and your outer hips down. And move the buttocks back and the abdomen back, but the sides of the body forward. And just notice the difference. This is the classic pose. This is the classic pose, downward facing hero's pose. So it's pretty intense. You can tell that's why they modified it, because it's pretty intense. Now walk your hands back. Very good. Okay, and then just stretch your legs out one at a time. You can hold on to the right ankle and bring the right leg forward, bring the left leg forward, and then press the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Okay, so make sure to sit on enough height that your sacrum is not falling backwards. Your sacrum should be lifted and coming in. It should be coming in actually. Okay, so sit on enough height. So maybe that's, you can still sit on a block. That works fine. I'm just gonna sit on some blankets. So find enough height. So we're gonna bring that right leg back into Virasana. So the left leg is in Tadasana and the right leg is in Virasana. Now if you're sitting on a block, have the block under both sitting bones. If you're sitting lower than a block, just have the support under your straight leg sitting bone. Okay, because you want your hips to be even. If you're sitting lower than a block, just have the support under the straight leg sitting bone. Again, pull this right shin bone skin and kneecap skin forward. Just have your thighs parallel. That's it. Move down through the sitting bones and go up with your arms. Go all the way up with your arms. That's it. So reach the arms upwards so that you can lengthen the sides of the trunk. Reach your fingers upwards. And then as you come forward, you're bending from here. You're not bending from here. You're bending from here. And you hold on to the foot. If you can't reach the foot, you hold on to a belt. Straighten your arms. Turn your inner arms upwards and move the Front ribs forward. Move the front ribs forward. That's it. And get those back ribs to come in. Those of you on a belt, you just are staying here. That's it. Shift your body weight more towards the bent leg side. Shift your body weight to the bent leg side. That's it. Good. Now reach your arms forwards and come up. Turn your palms outwards and come down. Excellent. Switch your legs. Bring the right leg out and then bring the left leg back into Virasana. Again, if you're on a block, just have both of your sitting bones on the block. If you're lower than a block, just have the support under your straight leg sitting bone. Okay? If you're on 2 blankets, you can also have them under both sitting bones. So adjust your shin skin, kneecap skin. Get the root of that right thigh down, then raise your arms up. Shift your body weight towards the bent leg side. Shift your body weight towards the outer left shin. That's the way. Pull your arms up to lengthen your side body. Pull your fingers up to lengthen your arms. And then hinge from your hips as you come forward and hold on to the foot. Now turn your inner arms upwards. That's it. Bring your front ribs forwards and bring your back ribs in. Get rid of any roundedness in your back. Pull those front ribs forward. Those of you on the belt, just keep walking your hands closer. Those of you holding the foot, pull on the foot. Pull the inner arms up, bring the outer shoulders back. Now reach the arms forwards and come up. That's it. Turn your palms outwards and come down. Very good. Switch your legs. Left leg out, right leg back. Make your adjustments. Now, those of you holding the belt, you stay in the concave position. You don't go any further, okay? Your work is to walk your hands closer and closer. First, you have to be patient until you get to the belt. But you can also, those of you who need to, you can also go up a chair. So when we come forward, those of you with the belt, you can also go up on a chair in this way. Okay, everybody get ready. So go upwards, shift your body weight towards the bent leg side, and then come forward, hold on to that left foot, and lift your chest. Fly the front ribs forward, bring the back ribs in, shift your body weight towards the bent leg side. Now, if you have the foot, bend your elbows out to the sides and come forward. If you have the belt, just keep walking your hands closer. Otherwise, go up and over a chair. Yes, that's it. Lift your elbows out and up. And then release the head down. Bring the back ribs in. That's it. So I would go over the chair, Bob. You just put the chair over your legs and go over the chair. That's it. Come further and further forward. Now, just like Parvatasana, you have to turn the abdomen from the right side to the left side. And then lengthen your whole spine over that left leg. Get the back of your left leg into the floor. Surrender that left leg. That's good, Bob, like that. But one leg is forward, Bob. One leg is forward, the other leg is back. One leg is forward. Very good. Now reach your arms forward and come up out of the pose. Excellent. Okay, and then switch your legs. Bring the one leg out of Virasana, the other leg back into Virasana. Adjust the height as needed. So you're either, both sitting bones are on the height or just one. Make sure that your left toes are going straight backwards. Shift your body weight to the left side. The body weight goes to the left. Doesn't it want to fall towards the straight? So shift it. And if you can't get it to shift, put more height under the straight-legged sitting bone. Raise your arms up. That's it. Go upwards. Hinge from your hips. Hold the foot. That's it. More flexible folks. Put a block in front of your foot. More flexible folks. If it's nothing for you to hold the foot, put a block in front of the foot. That's it. And remember that for the next time. You can always put a block there to get more extension. So turn your inner arms upwards. Bring your back ribs in. Get that length to come. Now, if you're holding the belt, just walk your hands closer. Otherwise, go over the chair. Otherwise, come forward over the leg. Hinge from your hips. Don't bend from your back. Hinge from your hips. It's a forward bending starts at your pelvis. Okay, so now that right leg is down. Press it into the floor. Shift your body weight to the left side. Draw your abdomen back. Draw your outer hips down. Bend your elbows out to the sides and up to the ceiling. Bend your elbows up because that's what takes the back ribs in. Get those back ribs to go in. Draw the abdomen back into the body. Surrender your whole straight leg down. Very good. Now reach the arms forward and come up out of the pose. Well done. Well done. Okay, now stretch both of your legs out. Stretch both of your legs outwards. Good. Okay, so now keep your legs straight. You can sit on the blankets, but we're going to take the right leg back this way into Janushirasana. So when I take the right leg back, look what I do with my blankets. I turn my blankets a little bit to the side. So my left leg is still parallel with the mat. And notice how my right heel is coming to my right thigh. My right heel is coming to my right thigh. My right foot is not on my left thigh. Just my right toes are on my inner left thigh. So you can sit on whatever support, those of you with the chair have it over your body. That's it. So this inner leg has to go out to the side. That's it. But so keep your right hand here on the inner thigh, but take your left hand and turn the abdomen towards the straight leg. This has to turn. The breastbone has to turn. This has to turn. That's it. Without letting this thigh come forward. If this feels bad for your knee, sit higher up. Sit higher up and then have something around you that you can slip under the knee if your knee is still floating. Good. Now raise your arms upwards. Raise your arms up and then lengthen the sides. There's a twist in this pose. It's not just a forward bend. The last one, there was no twist. This one has a twisting element, doesn't it? So come forward and hold on to the foot. Hold on to the foot or the belt. Now, once you're here, bring your right hand to the outer foot. The outer foot. Bring your left hand out to the side on your fingertips and turn. Turn your abdomen like we did in Uttanasana. From the bent leg side to the straight leg side. Bring your left ribs forward towards your right ribs forward towards your left inner knee. Draw the left ribs back. That's it. But look upwards. Lift your chest. Lift your chest. Front ribs forward, back ribs in. Good. Now reach your arms forward and come up. Turn your palms out and come down. Excellent. Bring that right leg up. And now move your blankets. If you're using blankets, turn them, slant them to the right side. And then bring your left leg back. So your left heel comes to your left thigh. Your left heel comes to your left groin, and the tips of your toes come to the right thigh. So your legs are pretty much in an L shape, but your left knee maybe is a little bit further back. So it's a little bit more than an L shape, if possible. So there's a lengthening here. That's it. Bring your left hand onto the thigh, give it some weight. Remember, sit higher if your knee is still floating, sit higher and have something in front of you that you can slip under the knee. Because when you come forward, the knee probably will come down. Okay, so now with your left hand on the thigh, turn your abdomen towards the straight leg. It has to turn. There's a twisting element in this pose. This has to turn, and your breastbone has to turn. Maintain that as you take your arms up. Go up with your arms. That's it. You should, the bottom of your left foot is turning upwards to the ceiling. That's it. Now come forward, hold on to the foot or the belt. That's it. Lift your chest. Now bring your left hand onto the outer foot. Bring your right hand out to the side. But still, lift the front ribs forward, back ribs in. Keep this left knee from coming forward. Now, turn your abdomen towards the straight leg. Turn your chest towards the straight leg. Move your right ribs down, move your left ribs down, move your right ribs back. Pull your breastbone forward, front ribs forward, draw the abdomen back. Excellent. Now reach the arms forward and come up. Very good. And now release, switch your legs, switch sides once again. Turn your blankets and draw the right leg back. Draw the right leg back. Right heel to the right groin. Yes, make sure to have enough support. Get the right heel to your right groin. Right heel to the right groin. So move your right knee further back, Anna, if you can. Right heel to the right groin. So here's the first stage. Look, the first stage we learn is this one, right? When you have your right foot against your left thigh. It's like tree pose. But then what I'm teaching you today is the more classic pose. So the heel, can you see that the heel is on this groin rather than the heel on this groin? So it moves back. So that's, and now if that feels too much, please go back to the first stage. Okay, otherwise, raise your arms upwards. Go up with your arms. That's it. Now, without your hand, turn your abdomen from the bent leg side to the straight leg side. Turn your breastbone, come forward, hold on to the foot. That's it, hold on to the foot. Yeah, hold on to the outer edge of the foot. Yes, bring your other hand out to the side. Lift your chest. Upwards. Turn, get that turning element. And then once you have that turn, bring your right hand to the inner foot, bring your left hand to the outer foot, and then go down over the leg. Or just keep holding the belt, stay in the concave back, or walk your hands over a chair. Go up and over the chair. Yes, that's it. Bend your elbows out to the sides. Now with your right thigh back, turn the right leg out, but turn the abdomen from the bent leg side to the straight leg side, and surrender your left leg to the floor. Let it go all the way down. Put a block in front of your foot. If it's coming well, put a block in front of the foot, only if it's coming well. Bend your elbows out to the sides. Excellent. Now reach your arms forward and come up out of the pose. Excellent. Take your time, stretch out the bent leg, come back through Dandasana, and then switch. Turn your blankets and bring your left leg back. Bring the left leg back. So the left heel is to the left groin. And can you see how the sole of my foot is kind of upwards? It's this way. That prepares you later on in your practice, because later on in the practice, we go from this pose into this pose. You see? So if you haven't learned the foot in that pose, it's much more difficult to do this pose. We're not doing this pose today, but I just want to give you an idea of where it goes, where all of the poses are connected. It's like a language that you're learning. So once you have that position, raise your arms up, turn, get that turning, but don't let the left knee come forward. And then come down, hold with your left hand, hold on to the outer right foot, turn, but lift, fly the front ribs forward, bring the back ribs in. Then bring your left hand to the inside of the foot, bring the right hand to the outside of the foot, lift your elbows and go over the leg. Go over the leg. Keep the left knee back, turning the left leg out, turn your abdomen from the bent leg side to the straight leg side. Release the straight leg down. Let the straight leg just fall in love with the floor. Take the elbows out to the sides and up. Keep moving the left ribs towards the right inner knee. I would sit 10 times higher, Jackie. Sit 10 times higher up on more blankets, especially if there's a knee concern. That's it. Bend your elbows out to the sides. There you go. Good. See if you can surrender in the pose. And then reach your arms forwards and come up out of the pose. Excellent. Okay, now make your blankets straight. We'll do Paschimottanasana. So now the blankets are straight. Maybe you're sitting on a block. Stretch your legs straight in front of you. Those of you with stiffer bodies and these forward bends, just take your feet apart. Have the chair over you. So chair folks, you use a chair on all of these like this. You just go up. You know, even if you stay here and you just slide the chair forward, you have to kind of experiment what you can do. Otherwise, stretch your legs forward. Now, pull the buttocks flesh back. And then raise your arms upwards. Move the roots of your thighs downwards. That's it. And then come forwards, hinging from your hips. Hold on to your feet. Use a block in front of your feet, those of you who can do that. But the block is straight up this way for today. That's it. And then turn your inner arms upwards. Fly your front ribs forward. Move your back ribs in. Those of you with a belt, you're just staying there or walk your hands over the chair. Everybody else, bend your elbows out to the sides and come forward over the legs. And then very deliberately, move the fronts of your thighs into the backs of the thighs. Surrender the backs of the legs to the floor. It can be a nice feeling. Maybe it's not that nice today, but it can be a nice feeling. Draw your outer hips down, draw your abdomen back, and then lengthen the sides of your trunk forward. Keep extending the front body. We've been working on that for the whole class. Relax your jaw, relax your tongue, relax your throat. See if you can add any amount of surrender. Any amount of surrender. Nice. Good, now reach your arms forward and come up out of the pose. Excellent. Okay, so I'll turn to the side now. You're just going to draw just the left leg back. So bring your fingertips under the back of the left knee. Bring your left heel right to your left sitting bone. Interlace your fingers on the front of this left shin. Draw your shoulders back. Make sure that your lower back is lifting and your sacrum is coming forward and your abdomen is moving back. Make sure that your right toes are going straight upwards. Now lift up your left arm and then hook your left elbow inside the knee and bring your right hand back. You can use a block behind you. Bring the right hand back behind you. Good. So turn. Now you're turning. Yes. So press your right leg down. Press the inner edge of your left foot down and push your left knee into your arm. Make sure that you're not leaning forward. You're just going straight up. That's the first portion of the pose. And with your left inner knee coming in, push your left arm into the knee and bring your left ribs all the way around. Bring your right hand back, further back, right fingernails back, right shoulder back. Lift up your head and your chest. See if you can turn more. Get your right ribs all the way back, left ribs all the way forward. Beautiful. And now release. Switch your legs. Stretch out that left leg, bend your right leg. Bring your right heel close to your right sitting bone. Interlace your fingers on the front of that right shin. Pull the shin skin upwards. Roll the shoulders back. Inject the shoulder blades into the back ribs. Now lift up your right arm. Hook your right elbow inside. And then take your left hand back and turn to the left side. And then press down through your straight leg. Press it down. Make that your anchor. Press into the inner foot of that inner right foot down. Push your right knee into the arm. Push the right arm back into the knee so that you have some leverage to turn your abdomen from the right to the left. Turn your ribs from the right to the left. Don't let your arm overpower the knee. Push the knee into the arm. Push the knee into the arm and push the arm into the knee. Yes. And then roll the left ribs back. Lift your chin and turn. Excellent. And now release. Okay, now get your belt and put a loop in your belt. We're going to do that again, but with a loop in the belt. So have a loop in your belt, just a simple loop. Okay, and then you can just watch first. So watch what I do. I'm going to put this belt over me again, and I bend my knee, the left knee again, and then I have that belt right around the top of my sacrum, kind of the same place we put it for Supta Padangustasana or Supta Baddha. And then I make the belt tight, but not too tight, just so it's there. And then watch what I do. I lift this arm up, I come forward, I reach it beyond my foot, and then I turn, I internally rotate this arm, and I hold on to the belt. I hold on to the belt. And then I bring this hand around and I hold onto the belt. I know some of you can hold your hand. I don't want you to. I want you to use the belt because the belt gives you more ability to lift. This has to lift. And I'm only interested in the turn. We're not forward bending, so you have to turn. But then also watch how this knee goes out to the side. Don't let your knee go out to the side. As you turn, don't let your knee go out. You see that? I have to push the knee in, go in as I turn myself around. Okay, so get ready, sit in Dandasana, bend your left knee, and then put your belt over. Now, if you cannot figure out the belt, it becomes too frustrating for you, then just do it again without. Do it again without, just this one. You can do this one again without doing all that. Otherwise, once you have the belt around your front left ankle, around your sacral band, tighten the belt. That's it, and then bring your right hand out to the side, lift up your left arm, and then reach forward with your left hand, beyond your foot, beyond the foot. And then internally rotate your left arm and hold on to the belt. Bring your right arm behind you, hold on to the belt. Press your inner left foot down, draw your left knee in, lift your chest, turn to the right, roll that right shoulder back, pull the belt apart. You can hold onto the belt close to your hands, but pull the belt apart. Turn more. Roll the right shoulder back. Roll the right shoulder back. Your arm has to come inside the leg there, Bob. Just do the first one when you're turning. Bring your left elbow in and just turn to the right. That's it. Throw your head back. Turn more. Pull on the belt. See if you can walk your hands any closer together on the belt. Bring your left foot really close to that inner thigh. Left foot really close. There you go, and turn. Throw your head back. Bring your back ribs in. Back ribs in. Lift your chin up. Front ribs up. Very good. And now release. Excellent. Those are pretty good. Now we'll do the other side. So you have to loosen your belt. Take it off for a moment. Loosen the belt. Take it off. And then now you'll bend the right leg. So bend the right leg, and then you can put your belt back on. And then you put the belt on the sacral band and the ankle. Okay? And then you can pull the shin skin up of that right thigh. Lift up, actually bring your left hand out to the side. Lift up your right arm. And then bring your right hand beyond your left foot. Internally rotate your right arm around the front of your ankle. Hold on to the belt. Your right palm should be going outwards. Both palms are going backwards. Bring your left hand around, hold on to the belt, and then pause. Yes. Now, press down through your left leg. Press the inner right foot down. Pull on the belt. Try to pull the belt apart. Lift your chest. And now turn. Turn to the left. Turn to the left. That's it. Turn even more. Get that left shoulder way back. Left shoulder way back. Move your back ribs in. Move the back ribs in. Lift the front ribs up. That's it. And turn more. See if you can get your hands closer together on that belt and pull the belt apart and lift. Nice, you guys. And now release. Excellent. Lie down on your back. Have the belt around the ankles for Shattuch Padasana. Lie down on your back and have the belt around the fronts of your ankles for Shattuch Padasana. So you can just use a doubled belt, or you can take the loop out and use a singular belt, whichever one works better for you. So just in case the Sanskrit throws you, it looks like this. So this is the starting position. Holding the belt close to my ankles. My feet are as wide as my shoulders. And the heels are a little bit wider than the toes. Turn the tops of your arms outwards, and then lift up your hips. Lift your hips upwards. Make sure there's nothing under your head. Lift the hips up. Pull the arms down. Lift the shoulder blades up. That's it. Climb onto the top of the shoulders. Now lift your middle buttocks up, and lift your outer thighs up. Outer thighs up. That's it, and then come down. Make sure that your feet are as wide as your shoulders. If your feet are too close together, you won't get as much of a lift. Have the feet at least as wide as the outer shoulders. We'll do that again. Have your heels wider than the toes. Turn the tops of your arms out and raise your hips up. Shattuch Padasana. So open up the front of the body now. Pull the arms down. Bring the shoulder blades up into the back. Shoulder blades up into the back. See if you can get more lift on them, more lift of your hips, more lift of your chest, 10 times more. Tailbone in and up. Don't let your thighs play apart. Keep your thigh bones parallel. Make your thighs like two parallel lines. Tailbone in and up, and now come down, not bad. Good, now bring your feet together. Keep holding the belt, but let your knees open out to the sides. So Supta Baddha Konasana active. Hold on to the belt so your arms are straight. You can even turn the tops of your arms out and bring your arms a little bit more under your body, almost like you're on top of your arms. Have your palms upwards, press your heels into each other, and then lift your hips up. Lift your hips up just an inch. But don't let your knees come up. Move your knees down. Your knees go down, your thighs go down, just your hips come up a little bit. Soften the abdomen. That's it. And now bring your hips down. Bring the hips down. Turn the tops of your arms out. Press your heels into each other. Keep the outer edges of your feet together and lift your hips up. Lift those hips up, but don't let your knees go up. Your knees go down. That's it. So you're opening up the groins after those forward bendings. Tailbone in, abdomen soft. And now bring your hips down. Excellent. Very good. Now, those of you who do shoulder stand, get ready for shoulder stand. Otherwise, put your legs up onto a wall now and rest, but now you will rest with support. Have your legs on support. So have the support a little bit away from the wall. Otherwise, get ready for shoulder stand. If you have a chair and you'd rather do chair, that's fine. So shoulder stand classic, or chair, or Vipariti Karani. If you're doing legs up the wall, have a little bit of space between the wall and the bolster. And a blanket under your head for Vipariti Karani is optional. Classic shoulder standers, go into plow pose, get onto the top of the shoulders. If you're using a belt, put it on, and then go up into your pose. Chair folks, you know what to do. That's it. And Anna, before you go up, put a blanket on the sticky mat so your head is on something soft, not sticky. That's good. There you go. So get the shoulders down and then lift the legs up, shoulder standers. Keep walking the hands further and further down your back, right where we've been working today. So with your hands now, or can you bring your back ribs away from your hands? So you feel like the back ribs are still coming in after those forward bendings. That's it. And then you bring your middle buttocks forward and make sure that your legs are fully extended. Notice how they feel after the forward bends. See if you can walk your hands further down the back. Those of you on the chair, see if you can walk your hands further down the back legs of the chair. Marie, that's super good. See if you can bring your left elbow in any amount. Yes, there you go. Left elbow in. Have all of your fingers go upwards. And I think even shift your body weight towards the left a little bit. Shift your body weight. That's it. Yes. Shift the body weight to the left. And that might make it easier over time to bring that left elbow in. That's it. Keep the middle buttocks coming forward. Don't let your legs fall back like that, Karen. Bring your legs a little bit more towards your face. No, your legs are, that's it. Yes. Middle buttocks is what comes forward. Bring your middle buttocks forward. That's it. Good. And then reach up through the legs. Russell, see if you can get your legs more up, like I'm holding your ankles and I'm having my knee in your tailbone. I'm pushing my knee and bring your tailbone really forward towards that door. Get on the top of your shoulders, way up on the top of the shoulders, way up. That's the way. Keep extending up through the legs. You want these poses to keep improving, all of your poses really to keep improving, but you want your headstand, your shoulder stand to keep getting more and more refined until they just feel like silk. They feel like you want to crave them. At a certain point, you start to crave headstand and shoulder stand. That's when you know you're making tremendous progress. So all of the other poses help you with that. You start to crave these poses. Walk your hands further and further down. Keep lifting your hips upwards. Good. Now, those of you with your legs up the wall, cross your legs on the wall and rest with your legs crossed. The legs are crossed at the shins. Those of you on the chair, come into Baddha Konasana on the chair. Baddha Konasana on the chair. Those of you in shoulder stand, come into plow pose. Plow pose with your legs over your head. Stay there. You can either interlace your fingers and stretch your knuckles away from your back, or you can keep your hands on the back, but make your legs straight. Keep walking your feet backwards. Now, those of you with your legs up the wall, switch the cross of your legs. Those of you on the chair, start to slide out and rest your hips on the chair, or rest your hips on the bolster and your legs on the chair. Halasana, folks, reverse the interlace of your fingers. That's it. And then Halasana, folks, lift your arms up alongside your ears and then slowly come down out of the pose. That's it. Slowly come down. Very good. And slide your shoulders back off of the blankets. Okay, we're going to do one more thing before Shavasana. So take your time, roll to the side, and just come into, have all of your Shavasana props around you. But I just want you to do Setu Bandha one more time. Setu Bandha this way. So you have blocks, 1 or 2 blocks on the flattest, lowest level or the highest level, depending. And you stretch your legs outwards. So please take Setu Bandha and just rest for a moment in Setu Bandha before Shavasana. If you have lower back discomfort, you have a couple choices. You can either lower the height of the blocks, or better still, keep the height of the blocks, but put your feet up on some height, on a bolster or some pillows. Make sure the blocks are right under the tailbone and the sacrum. Those of you who can manage it, turn the blocks at the highest level, as long as they're not soft. If the blocks are super soft, it won't work. Just keep them at the widest, lowest level. But if you have cork or wooden blocks, you can have the blocks at the highest level, and some of you can even reduce down to 1 block. Have 1 block under the tailbone and sacrum. That's it. Otherwise, keep both blocks, but make sure the legs are straight. That's it. Press the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. That's really good, Denise. Denise, can you turn the block the long ways? If you can do it. If you can't do it, it's fine. That's another way, but get the block long ways. That's it. Roll the outer thighs upwards. Bring that tailbone in. So sometimes in forward bendings, if you're not used to them, the sacrum goes out. So this pose takes away any chance that the sacrum is out. It brings the sacrum in. That's it. Keep scrubbing the heels forward. Press the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Turn the tops of the arms out. Relax the sides of the neck. Make sure the back of the neck is elongated. Let your breath be soft. Outer thighs up. Let your breath be quiet. These are excellent, everybody. Good work. Now bend your knees. Now, to come up, you have to lift into Shattuch Padasana. So lift your hips up off the bricks. Keep your tailbone in. Take the bricks away. Keeping the tailbone in, then bring your hips down. Don't just let your hips crash down. And then get ready for Shavasana. Take any support you'd like. Under your thighs, over your thighs, under your head, or over your eyes. Push away any props you don't need to be working with now. Adjust the buttocks flesh away from your chest and lift your chest away from the pelvis. Lengthen the back of the neck. Remove glasses. Take a deeper inhalation into the space of your heart, that vastness. And as you exhale, release your legs completely. Take another deeper inhalation. As you exhale, release your arms completely. And if you're doing anything in Shavasana, that's what you're doing. Relaxing your arms, relaxing your legs. Relaxing your legs even more. Relaxing your arms even more. Relax your abdomen. Have the palms upwards. Let the jaw be loose. Surrender your eyes back to the brain. Soften the skin of your face. Have a deep sense of relaxing your whole body. Have a deep sense of releasing, of letting loose and letting go. If your mind starts to think, come back to relaxing your legs and your arms. When your mind, which has been tossed about by conflicting opinions and thoughts, becomes still and centered in equilibrium, then you experience yoga. With love, bring your hands onto your body and take deeper breaths in and out. Bend your knees and roll to your side, to your right side. And slowly come up to sit, any position that feels good to you. Make your spine tall, make your chest open, bring your palms upwards. Feel the effects of your practice. That was a very classic Iyengar Yoga forward bending class, and you all did beautifully. I want to acknowledge you. You all did great. So please acknowledge yourselves as well. Bring your hands to your heart center. Raise your chest upwards and bow your head downwards. Namaste. Peace and blessings to you all. Have a beautiful Saturday. Thank you so, so much. Enjoy.